Hey guys, Sam here. Still middle of the day, October 5th. And I'm just going to kind of do a little freestyle and move through some of the charts that we've been analyzing over the last few days. So I'm starting here on Litecoin. I think we looked at this either yesterday or the day before, and yeah, it was yesterday, right? So we drew this box here because it's a little more difficult to get a good Elliott count on this than it is with Bitcoin, because we have sort of competing counts here. We had the potential. We thought this was a 1, 3, 4. We were going to go up for a 5. We didn't get it, so we get a very clear 3-wave here. It stalls. We don't get the new high, and now we've gone impulsive. Well, yesterday we were looking at this, and it was bouncing right here at the 50. I don't know if you can see that. I'll take that off so you can see a little bit better. So this is right when we were looking at it yesterday. We're bouncing at the 50, but because we had this very nice 1, 2, 3, 4 comes up, doesn't challenge the wave 1 high. We've got the moving averages right there. We got a little structure. A lot of things implying that there's one more leg down. So I drew the box down here saying, well, likely spot for that is going to be down here at the 618, to the 6.5, right? And there, so stop being on the other side of the 6.5. But also this pivot here, always good to look over left and see if there's any significant pivots. That was the wave 1 prior high, likely to offer a little support, which is why I drew that little dashed line there. And then we had the just the basic fib pull, which I'll put on again, which was from the 2 high to the 3 low, looking for the 4 here. It doesn't quite make the 50. It's a few dollars short, but then it rips down and goes right to the negative 23.6. Right? So that's how we drew that box yesterday. We come in, we tick it, and now we're getting a little reaction. So good. And of course we've got the median line there as well to suggest that there was one more push down here to complete this. Now, is it complete? Well, we can't say that yet until we see impulsive structure here, because there's still the possibility. Let's see, I'm on a 1 hour. I'll just blow it up a little bit. So for this to really confirm for us, what we're looking for, what we're looking for is a completed 5-wave sequence here. You don't really have it, right? So it's not a diagonal. So in a diagonal, this little ABC here, that could work, but we don't get that. We don't get that. So potentially, until we get an impulsive move here. Now it could work. It could work because of the good structure here, but we need to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to see a 5-wave structure here, or we create the possibility for one more, retrace to pull. So we've gone through the 50, but not the 618, and so the potential is there for this to come down one more time and end up with a 5th wave here. Right, there's the negative 23. See it? This green here. The negative 23 from this last pull. That's a contender. Right? It wouldn't stop us out because we're on the other side of the 65. But that is a contender, and it would put it right in the box. So if I blow it out a little bit, that we see so often between the 618 and the 65. Very common target and a turning point as the stops that are on the other side of the 618 are hit. Those that were looking for the breakout short, those stops are those entries are started there, looking for breaks lower, and then it will often rip there and what will give the push out of that box fuel will be the stops that are hit from those that were looking for the breakout short, right? So that's often why you see that reaction at that little box between the 618 and the 65. So this could come down one more time. We would maintain that structure. We would just get better evidence here that we've got a completed. In this case, it would be an ending diagonal, right? So we're not completely at a point where we can call the bottom in until we see something impulsive coming out of that. So one to watch if you're long from yesterday, knowing that you were going to get that resistance there. So you know, if it's me, I'm moving my stop up. Why take the risk? Because I know I've got potential down here. So for me, I would be, you know, why, if nothing, I could be right at break even. You know, now if it goes, I've got almost no risk. If it comes back down, so I'm stopped out. Nope, I got no problem with that. I'm looking for the re-entry down here, and my upside target doesn't change. Right, we're still up here. So now, if this goes, I've reduced my risk now, and I'm looking at, you know, I can't even see it, what it would be. I have to pull it up. 15 to 1. I'm here. 26 to 1. You know, if you're in here and you've moved your stop to, you know, even if you don't go to break even, you just tighten it a little bit. Right, you tighten it on the assumption that the pivot's in. So now we tighten the stop. We're at a 26 to 1. Does that work for you? Now, if you go, you know, if we start to falter here, and this, you know, right now you can look at that and say, oh, well, that's looking more like a 3-wave. That's looking more like a 3-wave until I can get up to new highs. Still, I want to see that subdivide into some sort of impulsive structure. So if I don't see that, then, you know, reasonable to tighten up your stop and reduce the risk. You know, you maintain all the upside. If it goes down one more time, we take the small stop, either a very small loser or the scratch, and reload next time down. We reload at the negative 23 in that little window that we just talked about. So one to watch. I'd love to see this take off, but you know, first thing we got to do is get through the 6.5 on this side. Right? We haven't done that yet. So one to watch, but I just thought I'd revisit that because the entry was so absolutely perfect. Let's buzz over to Dash. Also, we drew this box yesterday. So the idea was, you know, some sort of, this is just an ugly correction, some sort of just droopy, you know, not a lot of clarity to it, not good separation, just kind of an ugly 2-wave. Well, if that is the 2, we come to the box, right? Same thing, right? Again, over and over. We draw the box between the 50 and just on the other side of the 65. That's the box we drew. We came into it, but it's still, you know, if we had some sort of an A, B, C, well, you get a little bit of a 1, 2, 3. Potentially that's a 4. Potentially that's a 4, and you go down one more time. So the thinking was, and the way we drew it was, well, if that is going to be our swing low, and we're just taking the 50, which is perfectly valid, if we're going to get a little 1, 2, well, maybe the place to take it is on the first little retracement. So you could be long here. You know, you're not too far from the entry yesterday, or right at the same entry point. You have a higher low, right? We haven't taken that out, so valid. But you really want to see this start to move now to confirm that low is in, because the possibility remains, and I'll take this off, the possibility remains that we've got one more swing down, and that this becomes a 1, some sort of 2, 3, there's the 4. So we do take note there. If that's the 1 of this push, we've gone just a few dollars beyond it. So we're now expecting a diagonal, right? We have to quantify it somehow. Not an impulse. Now it's a diagonal. So there's the possibility here, and we've just got seesaw chop. You know, no real data that's, you know, beyond yesterday, other than we've gone right where we would have expected that wave 2 to go. So unresolved, but one to watch. Any signs of strength here give us more validity to the idea that that's our solid 2 low. And now you're looking to catch this would be the 3 of the first wave of the 3. So lots of opportunity there in Dash. Lots of opportunity. One to watch. Let's go over to NEO and NEM. Now, NEO, you know, that's an awfully good looking wave count, right? So that's just right out of a textbook. It doesn't get any prettier than that. Okay, so we get the 1, 2. There's the 3 down to the 50. We go now. So now we're looking at the retracement to the all the way, right, from low to high of that 5-wave structure, looking for the 2. Well, you know, the depth of this looks a little bit like Bitcoin, right? So I'm going to pull this because a reasonable contender here because of the 5-wave structure now. So you could say, well, either I've got an A, B, C, there's my B, there's my C. So that's one possibility. But this kind of looks to me like we're more likely to have had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diagonal into an A wave right? We also have something I've shown you before. If we look at the length of time of this impulsive move, that's 134, 35, 134 bars, and our correction kind of short. What do we got there? 23 bars. At this point, that's one to watch because it's trading. This structure is so good, but really, where do I want to buy it? I want to buy it at the 50. So how do I get there? Well, if that's a leading diagonal into an A, now I'm looking for this, right? You certainly could be a buyer there. You certainly could be a buyer, right? I mean, that's a reasonable buy, knowing that you're going to hit. So that's a little. You're not trying to, get new highs there, but there's definitely a possible move here from the 38. Just like Bitcoin, you'll recall, likely targets for an A wave are between the 3 and the 4. It's actually almost identical to Bitcoin. We go right to the 38 too of the entire move between the 3 and the 4, and then we get a reaction. But we've got this, potentially a little subdivision here. Let me go down to a 1 hour. I'm on a 3 hour. So, it could be just like Bitcoin. This could be an ABC, but that still suggests to me that this is, if we're not a diagonal, and, I'd have to measure this, but it's going to be close. But so likely you've got an A wave complete, whether it's a diagonal or a zigzag. It doesn't matter as much as you might think. We can just look at that and say, well, what's likely here? Well, likely path is now we're going to go into some sort of a 3-wave structure to complete the B wave, and we'd look for that somewhere around the 61 to potentially the 786 can go that high. So this is also one to watch, looking for more clues. So if we can get a 3-wave breakdown into the B wave here, again, there's potential to trade that. You could, if we get up to the 50, which is what we'd like to see, you could be a buyer down here, right? Even though we are anticipating that we're in a correction, you can still trade it, right? So there's a possible trade there. I'd like to see it. Now take note here. I'd like to see it get to the 50. We're not there yet. So I'm not really saying buy it there yet. I'd like to see this get one more push up to the 50. But if you're looking to get into Neo and you don't want to wait, that's nothing wrong with it. It's not. I wouldn't take it, but I mean certainly low risk. Even if you just go from the 50 here, and we go up to the 618, and we put a stop here. If you want to be real tight, on the other side of the 65, that's 4.5 to 1. If you go to the 786, knowing that the B wave can go that low, 2.85 to 1, that's kind of a minimum. I like to get at least 3 to 1. So, yeah, there's a trade there. Ideally, it gets a little higher. For that first A of the ABC into the B. I know you just got to look at it and just put these up here and say, okay, what's the next clue? What's the next clue? Do I get to the 50? Do I come down here and stall at the 50? There's trading opportunity there, but there's so much to trade. Why not wait until they're just absolutely just what you like to see? I would like to see that get one more push up to the 50, then pull back. Then I like it even better. And for me, I would not be a seller up here. I would wait for the C wave to be a buyer, and I'd be more aggressive with that. Look how, if we get that and we go up to the negative 23, right? So this is the path. This is the path that I'm looking for, and look how beautifully this potentially plays. Doesn't mean it's going to play out this way, but is this a roadmap? If I see this, wow, right? So here down to this 50, up to the negative 23, that's algo target, which happens to line up perfectly with the 618. What a beautiful B that would be, right? If that unfolds. So I will leave that, and we'll look at this. I'll come back to this over the next day or two and see how it unfolds, right? So I got to pull this up a tad. So there's up to our B wave, to the negative 23, right on the 618. If I get a turn there, well then my next target is the next negative 23, that happens to line up with the 50 of the entire move. right? Then we put a put a channel on it or put a pitchfork on it. It all starts to look. That would be ideal structure, right? We get up here. Here's the bounce, up for the B, down for the C, right at the channel, right at the negative 23, right at the 50. That's the perfect one. Odds are, market rarely gives you perfect, but you got to start somewhere, right? So that's the one that would just be beautiful to see. Does it happen? Probably not. But if it does happen, I've got a beautiful looking roadmap. I want to pay attention to that. Moving on, let's go over to NEM. This one's a little trickier. Right, a lot of interest in this crypto, but not an easy count. Not an easy count. So we have that same structure that we've had with so many of the majors. We had it in Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum. We were looking for, we had the big sell-off, right? But it broke down into 5. There's the A, B, C. So this could have been the A, the B, and the push down for the C. We don't get it, right? That's just like Bitcoin. We're all looking for that. We don't get it. So now we've gone into some sort of complex correction. And here, there's a lesson here I wanted to show you that. So I've got the Schiff pitchfork on this, right? That has been containing it quite nicely. So when we break outside of it, now this is the 100. Now I go to the 150 and the 200, right? So I've just taken this channel and just, in essence, I've cloned it to get an outside channel. Excuse me. So looking at this, well, this could have been A. We were looking for, in Bitcoin, we got a beautiful impulsive structure. Well, we're not getting that in NEM. What did we get? Well, we did get a 5-wave A. We got some little 3-wave B, and then from there, we were looking for, what we got in Bitcoin, the 5-wave sequence. We don't get it. We get a 3-wave structure into a double top. Now, the lesson here is, when you're using median lines, when you see this kind of reaction where you've got the good pivots, you go to the median line, then you go to the outside median line, right? The outside edge, warning line, and then we fail to get back to the median line. That is a big tell. That is a true sign of weakness because you have 80% odds from here that you're going to get to the median line. Very strong contender. When that does not happen, that implies extreme weakness, and it's not unusual to see this break the outer median line and then go much further down. So at this point, I put the 200% to say, well, is that containing it? And I'm looking at that count going, well, all right, well, there's my A. Potentially, I've just put in an A, B, C of a B, and now there's one more push up to complete that. Right? Do you see it? Put the wave on it so you can see what our potential roadmap is here, right, which is not good long term. So if this is A, B, C, if this is my A, this is my B, I got to go up for one more C, right? Lots of opportunity. That's a big move. But if it goes up there, then the expectation would be, you'd be looking for it to go at the median line. The expectation is one more push down. Right? So if none of that floats your boat and you just like, that's too complicated, well, you could always just pull 50s. Right? So if I take, let me get that off of there just so we can simplify. And you say, I don't know, if it's not easy to count, Sam, you tell me if it's not easy, don't count it, just pull fibs. Okay. What do we got? Let's make it as simple as we can. Let's go from low to high. Well, we've hit the 50 twice, right? Screw the wave count. There's a 50. You could certainly be a buyer there with a stop on the other side of the 618, at the other side of the 65. Well, you could be a buyer there. Where's my target? Here's the negative 23, right? Right with the median line, so here's a cluster that we talk about. All right, we've got the 618 of the entire move down retraced. We've got the median line, and we've got a negative 23 as a target off of this 50 from swing low to high. So really, if you look at this, all that's happening here is we're stuck between two 50s. You see it? That's battle for the trend. That's why you're getting all of this, lack of direction. Just correction followed by correction followed by correction. There's no impulsive movement here, so that doesn't mean it can't be traded. It just means it's not the perfect impulse structure like we've had in Bitcoin or some of the others where it's you can't help but see it. This, you got to fight for a count here that works. And again, once this unfolds with hindsight, we'll come back and we'll be able to quantify it and label it for what that's worth. But right now, on the right edge of the market, well, I'm caught between two 50s. So I can, again, if you want to be a buyer, most of us are looking for the buy side. If for no other reason then it's harder to be a seller in crypto than a buyer. So if you're a buyer here at the 50 or the other side of the 618, well, that's certainly valid. We got any help down here? Well, there's the cross on the wave trend. So there's plenty of energy there to get up to the other side. That would be perfectly valid from the 50 to the negative 23 to the 618. Nice looking trade. Nothing wrong with that. Low risk, at least 4-to-1 return. Absolutely no reason not to take that trade other than there's something better. That's what it comes down to. Is that too funky for you to go, I like to get them really, really perfect. Wait for your pitch. If that's a little, too funky, I can't quantify this. I don't know what it is. Next market. Speaking of next market, let's go to Monero. This one, we'll look at two here, right? So how am I doing? 20 minutes? I really like to keep these under half an hour. Okay, so here, this is kind of the blessing and the curse of crypto. So here's Zcash on a 4-hour. So this had been playing it was so pretty technically. We had the nice leading diagonal with the ending diagonal into this 5-wave sequence. We come down here. There was definitely a loser here because we had the potential. We thought we had a 2-wave in. I know I took a stop down here. It ends up going down, and technically we can allow for this to be a very deep 2 because it double bottoms, very bullish. Double bottoms, does not get to a new low. So in the strictest rule set, this can be a 1-2, and we'll look what happens. Well, it's not an easy count, but it's valid. So we get this monster scream up here, and I've just drawn these boxes. When we first looked at this, I was just making the point that we're stuck between in this range, and the 50% from low to high was just right here. Well, we came down to the 50 and we stalled a little bit. Now we've broken to the other side of the 6.5 and had a little reaction. So is there a trade there? In my mind, that's just, and unless you caught this, and you got the run here, and I didn't. The trade at that point, there was the potential for this to be a 1-2. This was a 3. We had a little ABC. I was looking for new lows. I thought we were going to have this to complete the 5-wave sequence, and we were going to change the count, and this was going to be an A. I didn't know where we were going, but all I knew is that, look here, 1, 2, 3, 4 potential for a 5 doesn't happen, right? And it really, we're always looking for 5s to correct in 3s, and it ends up obliging, right? Even though we had a potential 5-wave structure, it doesn't give it to us, but it does give us an unusual 3 to go right to the tick on the double bottom. But that reaction is very bullish when you see that kind of reaction, when they can't get it to new lows, and you get that screaming move higher. Well, that the breakout traders there, it's the fuel here are the stops that are getting hit. The shorts that we're looking for this to break to new lows, those stops get hit, and that's what gives you that big reaction. Then it settles a little bit, and then here, if you caught that, well, good for you. I didn't catch it. I wish I had. But now, how do you trade that? What is it? Well, is that it's hard. Is that a 1-2? I don't know what that is. I suppose right now, if I had to put a count on that, this would be some sort of 1. If this is 1-2, well, that's 1 of 3. As far as I'm concerned, there's no trade there because I can't get my arms around it. It's just too volatile. Somebody made money and somebody lost some money. That's what I can tell you with absolute certainty, because that kind of volatility is untradeable. So I will wait for that to give me more structure where I can get in with better probabilities. Right now, that's a roll of the dice. Could you take that long? Sure, right. You get a little break here. These moving averages have held it. that could scream again. It could. If it does, if that moves, what I'm looking for is this. If that's going to be just a deep retracement off of the extremity of that move higher, I'll wait for that, because then I can buy it here with a stop under this. That's the only way I can see to trade that. Just my opinion. Same thing over here. I mean, how do you, if you weren't in that, how do you know to get that? How were you in that? I don't know. I wasn't in that, but I happened to see that reaction just from looking at who was moving that day. And interestingly, if I go to the lowest low that I can pull from, I put a little marker here on this swing high here. Where do we go? Right in the look at the extreme range here. Right. So you think, oh God, that's just completely random. Where's that going? Where's that going to retrace? Well, where does it go? Right to that little window between the 618 and the 65. That really shouldn't be shocking, right? This pivot holds it. Is that a 1, 2, some monster 3? I don't know. But if you were long here and you're like, wow, I got a home run ball. Well, look how quickly it all came back. That to me is untradeable. It's not the kind of market I look for. But is there a long there? Well, yeah. But same thing. If you're looking to trade this because I don't know, for whatever reason, you know something, or you caught something, or you're in touch with the developers, or why that moved like that. I can't tell you why I did. I don't know much about it. Other I can go do a little research on it, but that's not the kind of structure that I'm looking to trade. But if I was looking for a long, if someone said, well, how could I get into that, Sam? Well, then I'm waiting for that, because I want this pivot to solidify. I want to know that's not just a reaction to the 618. I'd like to see that, get a little pullback. Okay, cool. Well, now I got, I can look risk reward and go, well, if I'm going to risk here, because I'd be a buyer at the 50, stop under the pivot, small amount of risk. What's my upside? Well, am I going back to new highs? Am I going back to the old high? I mean, yeah, that's this kind of move is why we all love crypto, that kind of volatility. But how you would know that's coming, I mean, I suppose you could make the case that you, I'm on a 12-hour chart here, that you caught this little swing here, and which went right to the 618. Interesting. Look, interesting. Look at that. Let me go to a 4-hour. Look at the continuity here. So this first swing, if I can get it up here for you to look at it. So if I go low to high, we go right into, if you can see it, we go right into the little pivot between the 618 and the 65. Right? That's where that starts. So if I got to dial it in here, you're to the tick. Right? So if you caught that because you were, for whatever reason, and then here's your little first retracement, and you caught that, well, look at the continuity here. And then we do the exact same thing. All right, let me pull that off so you can see it. So we go from that little 61865 window to this little 61865 window. How goes? Probably. It's not random, I can tell you that. That's not 2 in a row right in that window. Is that a little box you want to pay attention to? I hope so. I hope you're paying attention to that. How am I doing? 28 minutes. I'm running out of time. We'll look at one more, and then I did have something else I wanted to show you, so I'll come back for this. I don't want these to be too long. Half an hour is the limit. I think people, at least for me, if I go to look at a video and I see, oh, it's an hour and 20 minutes, I'm not interested. It's too long. Okay, here, this is Monero. This has been very, very tricky to trade. So, the one thing we could see here, this is, just like Bitcoin, this is that we had the big correction, the expectation for new low. We don't get it. But we do get an impulsive, we get a diagonal structure here. So we get a 5-wave sequence, and we've tried a couple of times here. I know I have tried a couple of times to get long, and I've taken 1 or 2 stops. Actually, I don't remember. But at least 1 stop. So you look at that and you say, okay, well, let me just try and recreate this a little bit. Well, so we drew this box the other day and said, okay, well, we were looking at this pull here. So if this is if we're going from low to high, well, again, keeping it simple, well, there's the 50. That's the 50 from low to high, so as rudimentary as it gets. If this is some sort of A, B, C, well, we pulled from this low to, or pardon me, from this high to this low and went right to the 50. Where's the negative 23? Well, we go there to the tick. Algos. So that's why that little box was drawn there. Potentially the too low. And what I suggested was, well, if you want to be a buyer there, wait for the 1-2. Well, look, it went deep. Remember I told you a wave two can go deep because it's a fight to get to new lows. There's a push for sellers to want to break that low. That's what causes the depth. The reaction, the fact that they can't get there, is very bullish. So potentially we have an impulse wave starting there. Potentially. We can't quantify it yet. First thing we got to do is get past the 1. And we got to see some sort of impulsive behavior. Well, first we got to get past the 1, then we got to get past the 50, then we got to get past the 618. And now, you got to draw it from all the way at the low. If that's our low and that's our 1-2, this is going to need to start showing impulsive behavior characteristics. So, but is there a trade there? Oh yeah. That's because what we're looking, that would be, that's the 3 of the 3. That's the one you want. That's why we were looking at this the other day. Right? If you can get that, well, is it too late? No, right? So what? Well, this is a $92 crypto. So you're at 92. You put your stop on that low. That's at 87. You can put your stop under the hard low, which we think is our pivot. That's at 8. Yeah, you could take that trade. Oscillators starting to move higher. We get a little traction here. You've got energy potential there for this to start to move. You're going to hit some bumps, definitely. You're going to hit resistance at the 50 on the way back and the 618. But an impulse move has to get through those. That's the bull bear battle. It's always these are the battle lines, if you will. Right? The 50s and the 618s, battle lines between bulls and bears. So if you're a bull and we like the long side, we're always looking for the long side, definitely a trade there. That's a contender. So you hit the 50 expecting a little resistance, so you tighten up your stop. If nothing else, you go to break even, knowing that this could get, the bears could win it and they push it back down. There's their target right here. Negative 23 on the other side of the 65. If it comes up here and stalls, we're going down again. Then we'd recount it. Maybe it's an A, B, and we got to go deeper for the C, right? That's the thing about the wave structure and the wave count. It's only a potential roadmap. We don't know until it proves itself. That's why you keep an alternate count. If we stall here and start to head lower, oh, okay, well, what is it now? What could it be? Well, maybe there's the A. We're going to do a B, and we're going to go lower for a C. All contenders, they're always contenders until proven otherwise. That's why you maintain an alternate count and why you always draw the fibs on the other side, knowing you're going to get resistance there, and a break through that validates your roadmap. Now you say, okay, I'm on the 3. Beautiful, just where you want to be, the 3 of 3. What are you doing now? You're waiting for the 4. Right? That's either you're going to take some profit or you reload here. Now you're loading with house money. Right? That's how you do it. That's the name of the game. And then where's the target? Negative 23. That's the algo target from this swing low to this swing high to this 50, which has been the support. So far, that plays. Look at that risk reward. Even if you bought it right here, there's your target. Stop under the low. 5.3 to 1 on a $90 crypto. That's just the first target. Right? If that's a 1-2, the 3 potentially is way higher. And we potential with negative 618. So there's all sorts of upside there if that's going to be a runner. Right? So maybe it's partial profit here with possible upside here at the negative 618. Now you're at 8.3 to 1. But if you start moving up here, well, your stop is now at break even. Right? Of course. Why maintain risk in the market? If you've got a winner, you try at all costs try to avoid letting a winner turn into a loser, right? All right, I'm over 30 minutes. I got a break now. I got one more. I'll be back to you with one last video today. Okay, that's it for now, guys.